Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is your weekly astrology forecast for the week of December 20th to 26th, 2021. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what's happening as we enter this week. So last week we went through a few things. Mars and Mercury both changed signs, and we saw a shift last Monday in our communication and how we take action. We will take action now from a more adventurous spirit, more about trying things out and seeing how they go rather than being very fixed about taking action and approaching it from a very all or nothing approach. And our communication has now become a little more serious. We will be thinking more seriously about our lifestyle, about our health, about our job, about all these things than we did when Mercury was in Sagittarius before December 13th last Monday. So that's the first thing that we will see coming into this week, which started last week, is a shift in these two areas. Now, the second thing is that Venus went retrograde on December 18th, 19th, depending on where you're at in the world. It could have varied. So Venus going retrograde is an opportunity for us to review our relationships, projects, and self-worth to assess how we feel about these things. Now, Venus has gone retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, and this retrograde in Capricorn is happening after 8 years. The last time Venus retrograded in Capricorn was 8 years ago, and Venus retrogrades in the same sign after 8 years. So it's an 8-year cycle that we are revisiting. And the last time this happened was 2013 December and 2014 January, right? So similar themes might come back up for review or closure. The exact same theme will not come back because the other planets are in different positions, but similar themes might come back into your life for you to review and close out. And since Venus is retrograde as we enter this week, it's really not the best time to start something absolutely new when it comes to projects, relationships, and finances. Although it's okay to review things and work on things that we have worked on previously or thought of previously or that have started before. Now, Venus retrograde is also a period where our individual charts will get re-energized wherever 11 to 26 degrees of Capricorn is. So look for your chart, 11 to 26 degrees of Capricorn. That's where this will take place. So that's another thing. So as we enter this week, Venus is retrograde. Now, the next important thing is that Chiron went direct, I believe, on December 19th, Sunday, yesterday. And now we are actively going to work on healing ourselves by facing our wounds, by facing our pain. And that work of healing ourselves has dialed up in intensity as we enter this week. We are also entering this week with the full moon in Gemini energy, which was in a trine to Jupiter, but a square to Neptune. And what that means is that this full moon brought with it blessings and healing and rewards, but also a little bit of confusion. And it in many ways also was a completion point, a culmination point of the energy that started in June for us. And if you want to know more about this full moon, you can watch my full moon video where I break down the energy in detail. So this week we are working on that full moon energy. We are in that full moon energy of receiving blessings, gifts, healings, but feeling slightly confused. And that's okay because Venus is retrograde. It is time to assess these things in our life. It is time to reassess our relationships and projects and transform them because Venus is conjunct Pluto. It's been conjunct Pluto for a while. Even this week, it's going to be conjunct Pluto, which means transformation, Pluto, to our relationships and projects. So a lot is happening as we enter this week, and I just wanted to give you the background that we are coming into this week with. Now let's talk about what's happening during this week. This week we have a few important things happening. The sun is going to enter the sign of Capricorn. We will also have the Saturn Uranus Square. Now this is the highlight of this week, the Saturn Uranus Square, and Venus and Pluto are going to conjunct exact this week again. And Jupiter is at the end degrees of Aquarius, getting ready to enter Pisces next week. So these are the highlights of the week. Now, very quick, I'm going to go over the days and just very briefly mention what the energy for each day might bring for us. And on Friday's energy, December 24th, we will talk about the Saturn Uranus Square in detail. So as we enter this week on Monday, we have the moon in Cancer, we have the moon sextiling Uranus and trining Neptune, and we also have the Mercury-Uranus trine on Monday. Now what all this means is that Monday is a day of introspection, of sudden epiphanies, insights, messages, or communication, and it's a day of nourishing ourselves and taking care of ourselves and being more with family and friends. So that's Monday's energy in a nutshell. Moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday is a day where the moon will continue to be in the sign of Cancer, right? And it will oppose the Pluto-Venus conjunction. And the sun on Tuesday will enter the sign of Capricorn, and the moon towards the afternoon for Pacific time and late night rest of the world will enter the sign of Leo. Now putting this all together, we can say that Tuesday the energy will shift from nourishing and introspecting to trying to strike the balance between what our heart desires and how hard we want to work towards what our heart desires to make it a reality. We will also see a shift in energy today as the sun enters the sign of Capricorn, and now only Mars is left in Sagittarius. A few weeks ago, there was a lot of energy in Sag, and now a lot of the energy has shifted to Capricorn. We have Mercury there, Venus is there, Pluto has been there for a while, and now Sun has joined all these energies. And what this means is that we're entering into a very serious energy. It's an energy about commitments and being very serious and disciplined and working hard. So that's Tuesday, and I would say Tuesday is a day of shifting into a different energy that is more serious and that focuses and urges us to strike a balance between what we desire and what we put into that to make it a reality, what work we put into that to make it a reality. Now moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday is a day where the moon will continue to be in Leo. We have a grand trine between Mars, Chiron, and the moon in Leo, and we have a T-square with the moon in Leo with Saturn and Uranus. Now putting this all together, it means that it's a day of continuing to strike a balance between what we desire and the work we are willing to put into it to make it a reality, which today might require us to take some decisions or work harder than usual, and that in turn can lead to epiphanies, insights, or sudden changes that will be more in tune with our true, unique, authentic self. So I would say that Wednesday's energy is slightly intense with the T-square, right, with moon opposing Saturn and squaring Uranus, and that can make us feel slightly stressed out. But it is an energy that will ask us to define something or work hard or take a decision out of which or after which we can have an insight or an epiphany or a realization that helps us get more in tune with our uniqueness, with our true authentic self. So that's Wednesday. Now moving on to Thursday, December 23rd. The moon will continue to be in Leo, but towards the end of the day and most parts of the world on Friday, the moon will enter the sign of Virgo. So we will see a shift in many ways on Thursday as well. I will mention what that shift will be, and the moon will also oppose Jupiter before entering Virgo. today. So what this means is that it's a day of continuing to strike that balance between what we love and how much work we are willing to put into it to make that thing that we love, that project, whatever it is, into a reality. And we will also begin to get organized today. There's a moment where we can feel that our emotions are magnified, and the goal today is to maintain our positivity. So that's Thursday. Now moving on to Friday, we have the highlight on Friday this week, December 24th. Saturn and Uranus are going to square for the third time. Now, I'm going to speak a little bit about this energy because this is the energy we will be feeling all week. Although we'll feel these moments and bursts of these different energies, the underlying energy that we will be feeling is the Saturn Uranus square. And what is this energy? So Saturn and Uranus have been squaring all year. They've been making a 90-degree angle all year. And these energies don't do this very often, right? The last time Saturn and Uranus made a 90-degree angle was in the year 2000, so 21 years ago. So it's not a very common thing to feel or go through. And this energy is very simply asking us to change. It's asking us to embrace the new and get rid of the old. That is what this energy is demanding. And the square came exact 3 times this year, once in Feb, once in June, and now once on December 24th. And when the square comes exact, just as it has on December 24th, it's at its peak intensity, right? So this is the final step in embracing the new, in getting rid of the old, in changing, in getting more in tune with our unique, authentic self, right? This is the final step. The first step was Feb, the second step in June, and now is the final step in December. And although these energies are going to be in a square next year, this is the final step. This is the most important step in that journey, in that process of letting go of the old and embracing the new, of letting go of the idea of who you think you are or who you think you should be and being your unique self, right? It's the final step. But it's not the end. Next year, in 2022, these two energies will still be in this configuration. They will still be in a 90-degree angle. And this means that although this is the final step, next year, we will continue to transition slowly. And towards the end of next year is when this intensity, this energy will start to go down. So that is the highlight of this week. It's happening on Friday, and this energy can feel intense. It can feel like there's a lot of pressure, because a square indicates pressure, right? It's so much pressure that we are forced to change, we are forced to grow, we are forced to transform. And in this case, it's all about getting rid of the old and embracing the new. And embracing our unique self. So that is Friday. Now moving on to Saturday, December 25th. Again, the Saturn-Uranus square energy will continue, although it'll be the most intense on Friday. On Saturday, we will still feel it. Maybe not as intensely as Friday, but still it's there. And it will be there with us for quite some time at this intensity. So Saturday is a day where we will feel that energy, that intensity of transforming, getting rid of the old, embracing the new, embracing our unique self. And it's also a day where we will be getting organized with the moon in Virgo. Stress and worry can also run high because the moon in Virgo can bring those energies with it, especially as it squares the nodes, which it will on Saturday. So that's something to be mindful of. Now today is the day on Saturday that Venus and Pluto are going to conjunct for the second time, right? We will also have Mars trining Chiron today, and the moon will oppose Neptune and trine Mercury and the Venus-Pluto conjunction. So there's a lot happening on Saturday, and what this means is that it's a day where we will feel the intensity of embracing the new, getting rid of the old, embracing our true, unique, authentic self. It's also a day where we will be getting organized. Stress and worry are some things that we should try to keep under check on Saturday, even on Friday, actually this whole week, but especially on Friday and Saturday. And there'll be more clarity on how we are going to transform our relationships, projects, and self-worth. And that's because Venus and Pluto are going to conjunct for the second time, right? We've been trying to figure out how to change up our projects, our relationships, or just how we feel about ourselves for quite some time, maybe a week or two, but especially since last week. And this week, we will gain more clarity on that process, especially on Saturday. And there is some healing taking place with Mars trining Chiron. Either it's an action that we take that heals us, or it's a healing to our own drive. So that's something that's happening as well on Saturday. But there are moments in the day where we might feel slightly confused or low because the moon will oppose Neptune. But there is also a lot of positivity because the moon will trine Mercury, Venus, and Pluto. So as we get clarity, a little bit more clarity on how we can transform our projects or self-worth or relationships, or just release some things connected to these things, because yes, it's transformation, Pluto conjunct Venus, but it's also catharsis connected to our relationships, projects, and self-worth. So as we figure these things out and take an important step in that process, we begin to feel slightly positive. We begin to feel good about these things. And that might lead to an inner transformation, a transformation to our emotions. So that's Saturday in a nutshell. Now moving on to Sunday. The moon will change signs on Sunday and enter the sign of Libra, where it will oppose Chiron and sextile Mars. And what this means is that the focus on Sunday will shift to relationships, to finding balance. From getting organized, now it's about finding balance. But there might be a moment in the day where we come emotionally face to face with our pain, but the goal is to heal ourselves from witnessing that pain or those wounds that we carry. And it's also a good day, maybe few moments in the day, where we will find that drive to take action and get things done. So that's the week in a nutshell, and I would just like to sum it up and say that this week the underlying energy is the Saturn Uranus Square energy, which is about change, which is about getting rid of the old, embracing the new, embracing our unique self. And this is the final step in that journey, in that process, something we have been going through all year. All year we've been going through this energy. It peaked in Feb, then in June, and now it's peaking again. And this is also an energy where a lot of what happened in June will in many ways complete itself, culminate itself, or reveal itself, or we will release something that happened in June, right? Any one of these things will happen as well. So as we approach the Saturn Uranus Square towards the end of the week, the build-up can be intense, right? So that's something we will need to keep in check and work through. Don't be afraid to let go of things. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to show your true, authentic self to the world, because this is what this energy is demanding. So if we realize that, the process might get easier, because this aspect is an intense one, right? It's a square. So squares feel challenging, but they bring about the most growth. So it is an opportunity this week to really let go of things that don't serve us anymore, that we might be holding on to. It's also an opportunity to show ourselves to the world, right? Remove that mask. So all these things are possible, required this week. And I would say if there's one takeaway from this video, just take away the fact that Saturn and Uranus are squaring, and it's about letting go and transforming and being your true authentic self. And another thing is that we are transforming or releasing emotions connected to relationships, projects, finances, and self-worth. And this week we will probably gain some clarity on how we transform these things, or reach a second point in releasing the emotions that don't serve us, connected to relationships or projects, or just how we feel about ourselves. So it's a very important week in astrology. It's one of the most important weeks we've had so far throughout the year. And that's the highlight of the week. So I would just say, let go of things that don't serve you and embrace your true authentic self and come into your own this week, right? It's not the end of that process, but it is the final step. And now we've reached the, it's like the first step, the second step, the third step, and then it takes off automatically. The changes take off, the transition takes off, because we've done the work. So we did the first step in Feb, second in June, third we're doing this week. And next year we'll continue the work, but the most important and the most difficult steps are done this year. So that's the week, and next week Jupiter will enter the sign of Pisces, so we will see that. We will also see Mercury meet up with Venus and Pluto, and the Saturn Uranus Square intensity will continue. So next week we also have these things. We will also see Mercury enter Aquarius on Jan 2nd, and the new moon in Capricorn on Jan 2nd as well. And of course, next week we are entering 2022. So a lot is happening this week, and now I will pick out a few cards for this week's energy, and then I will close it out. Let's go with this. Potential. So I think this week is about really coming into our own, figuring out our own potential, not doubting ourselves. Because sometimes we hold on to things that don't serve us anymore because we doubt our own potential, right? Our potential to maybe start something new, step into the new. So don't doubt that and uncover your potential this week. And sometimes that only happens when we remove that mask, right? The idea of who we think we should be. Power. So this week, step into your power, right? Potential and power. Don't be afraid of your own potential, of your own power, of letting go of things that don't serve you anymore. Because you have that power and you have the potential. Go with another deck. Never-ending story. What is that never-ending story in your life, in your thoughts, in your emotions that you need to let go of this week? Saturn, Uranus, this is the last time they're coming exact. What is it that's been lingering, but you need to let go of it? Is it a thought? Is it an emotion? Is it something that you say to yourself that doesn't serve you anymore? Is it a habit? Is it something else? Think about that, because maybe that never-ending story is preventing you from your own power and potential. And that does happen. That has happened to me in the past, right? Something that holds you back, something that holds you down so that you can't fly. What is that thing? And sometimes it's our own selves. So not always, sometimes. So let me pick another card. Time to go. We got this card for the new moon solar eclipse that happened on December 4th. Because it's time to go. It's time to take off. It's the last square this week, right? This is the time to decide. It's time. Although Venus is retrograde, we will get more clarity this week, but not the final clarity. But what we are letting go of this week is something that started in Feb. We know what that is. We worked on it before. We've thought about it before. Feb, June, now it's coming back. For us to close it out, take the final step. And after that, it's time to go. Actually, it started on December 4th, this takeoff, so to speak. It says go the distance, and it says regeneration. Keep going, go the distance, don't give up, right? Go the distance, because you might feel like you're not getting anywhere, but that's not true, right? That's not true. And it's time to change things up. Regeneration is a Pluto card to me, but this is about renewal, right? And for renewal, often we have to let go for the new to come in. This is about that. Okay, let's pick one more card and then we'll close it out. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And again, this is about finding comfort in your identity, in who you are, in yourself, because you are powerful. You have that power. You have the potential. It's about discovering it. You have all it takes. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others, right? And this Saturn Uranus Square is all about being your true, authentic self, right? And when you are your true, authentic self, you can fulfill your purpose on earth. You cannot fulfill your purpose on earth if you are being somebody you're not, right? Because you are uniquely you. You are here for a reason, for lessons and to give back, right? And what you have to offer, what you have to give is uniquely yours. It cannot be anybody else's. Nobody else is exactly like you, which means nobody else can give exactly what you can give. But we can't give those things or share those gifts till we embrace them ourselves, till we recognize them. And if we wear that mask, if we pretend to be something we're not, we can't really share our gifts, can we? So this week, I think the message is pretty clear that it's about discovering our own power, potential, and self-esteem by removing that mask that we wear, by embracing our uniqueness. We're all different. We're all unique. That is Uranus's message. And the Saturn Uranus Square is about that. And through that, there is renewal, there is healing in many ways, and this is the time. This is the time to end that thought, that idea, that anything that's a never-ending story in your life or in your mind, and let go of it. Because it's time to go, right? It's time to go. And don't give up. Don't give up. We've gone so far. We've come so far, rather. We've come so far. We went through 2020. That was not easy. We went through 2021. Now we're almost in 2022. And we will go through next year. Yes, the square will continue, but not as intensely as it has this year. So don't stop. Don't stop now. Keep going. And I think that's pretty much it for this week. And the message is loud and clear. It's about being you. This week is about being you and getting rid of what doesn't serve you anymore. The little aspects of the moon and this and that will not be so important this week as the Saturn Uranus Square is going to be. So just the whole week, keep that in mind. And even as the week ends, keep that in mind. And keep one thing in mind, that you have to let go of what's not serving you. You have to be your unique self. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in one of my other videos. Bye.